Hello everyone, and welcome to week 16 of English 120. This week, we'll continue to work on our research project by doing peer reviews. You'll also work on discussing the Valley of the Moon, Book 3, Chapters 12 through 17. You'll complete an active reading journal about those chapters. You'll participate in your peer review discussion forum, where you'll be choosing a peer partner, and you'll turn in a peer review of your peer's paper. So, as you can see, this is week 16 and we are on the peer review. Next week, your final essay will be due. I'll be sending back comments on the papers you turned in this week, so be looking for those and use those along with your peer review to revise your final paper. More details about the final paper will be posted in next week's content. So, the peer review workshop. For this workshop, you will be choosing one paper to peer review this week. Please follow the following steps to choose a peer review paper. Step 1. Please visit the peer review workshop and post your paper as an attachment to the post. Feel free to write a note to your peer if you have any questions for them. You could also talk a little bit about your paper and your goals for what you'd like to achieve with it. Step 2. Review the list of peers who have posted their papers already and choose one peer's post to respond to. Please make sure this person has not already received a peer reviewer. Each paper only gets one peer review. You will not get credit if you review someone's paper who has already been reviewed. You are only required to review one peer's paper. Once you respond to the post, download your peer's paper and fill out the peer editing checklist posted under this week's content. Email the filled out peer review checklist to your peer by the end of the week. In order to receive full credit for this assignment, you will also need to turn in the peer review that you did to the peer review Dropbox by Sunday, December 8th. It's not our assignment folder. Step 6. Please review your paper based on your peer review and the edits and suggestions I'll post by the end of this week, as long as you posted your draft by the deadline. So one additional thing I want to say is when you do post your own peer review, your own paper for peer review, make sure you also include your email and immediately send an email. Not only post it, but send an email to your peer, okay, so that you guys know that you're communicating about your paper, that you will be doing peer reviews together. All right, this week you'll be working on your active reading journal. This is our second to last week working on Jack London's The Valley of the Moon. So please make sure you're thinking about the text holistically. We're going to be answering the following questions in our active reading journal. Where do Billy and Saxon go after they leave the Sacramento Valley? What does Billy buy in Chapter 13? What does he return to in Chapters 13 and 14 and why? Where do they go after they leave Ukiah? I want you to also think about this longer quote on page 370, when the man they meet says, "The old folks schemed and gathered and added the land into the big holdings and built the great barns and mansions and planted the house orchards and flower gardens. The young folks were spoiled by so much wealth and went away to the cities to spend it. And old folks and young united in one thing, in impoverishing the land. Year after year they scratched it and took out bonanza crops. They put nothing back, and all they left was plow soil and exhausted lands. But the bonanza farmers are all gone now, thank the Lord, and here's where we small farmers come into our own. Worked out land that has ceased to grow wheat, and we turn the water on, treat the soil decently, and see our orchards." What farming technique is this man talking about in this quotation? How does this relate to what Mark Hall was talking about earlier in the book? I want you to really think about what this farming technique is. All right, that's all you need to do this week. You should continue to work on your research paper because it will be due next week. The final essay will be due weeks 17, 18. We'll be reading Valley of the Moon to the end. Then you'll be writing a journal entry for next week, and there will be a final on the Valley of the Moon, which I'll talk about next week. I'll also give you some tips on revising your essay in next week's lecture. All right, as always, guys, if you have any questions, especially if you have any questions about the edits I send back about your research paper or anything about the peer review, please reach out to me. You can send me an email or visit me during office hours. Talk to you soon.